welcome back to our podcast, Europeans, Stories of a Union of Volunteers. We're here in episode 7, Staying in Touch with ESC Friends. My name is Christina. I am from Czech Republic, and even though I'm not a member of the European Solidarity Network, I'm very glad to be here with you and talk about my project that I did in Poland. And with me, there's Anton.
Hello over there. My name is Anton. Very happy to talk with you today. You might or might not remember my voice from episode 2 and 3. If not, have a look at those episodes. A bit of a advertisement here. And I'm really looking forward to chat a bit about this topic that is so much related to the both of us, because we are, in fact, ESC friends, and we're talking about staying in touch with ESC friends. And as you can hear, we are still in touch. We're talking together right now, and not only doing podcasts, but also keeping in touch from time to time. So I think the topic is super cool. Yeah, let's just crash into the topic. I would wonder if you still have contact to other friends from your ESC time in Poland, and maybe also let us know where you've been and what you did.
So I was staying in a small town near Warsaw, and I was mostly helping in the office of the organization, also working a bit in culture center and a senior center, and organizing some events for the local youth. I'm mostly in touch with my flatmates, I could say. So there were 3 girls when I arrived, and then 1 left soon after I arrived. And some months later, 1 new volunteer came. The most time we spent together in this group, so this is the people that I'm most in touch. And then in September, there came a new group of volunteers that I stayed with for like 2 months. And I am still in touch with the girls, but maybe not as much as the previous flatmates. And then, of course, I'm also in touch with some Polish friends, because I also went back to Poland after my project to do an internship for half a year. So even though I wasn't staying in the same town, I was in Warsaw, so it wasn't so far, and we were still visiting each other and staying in touch. And then there are some people from like some other sister projects, let's say, that I'm a little bit in touch, but not so much. I would like to have more contact, but it's kind of exhausting to keep in touch with too many people. What about you?
I still have contact with quite some people, of course. And maybe one of the people you also have contact with, the dear friend Max. I don't know if you still are in contact with him, but he's actually also the reason why we know each other. Because I think you got to know each other, and then we had a nice celebration all together with a big crew, which was really cool. I think that's how we got to know each other.
Yeah, just wanted to say that, like, I was in contact with him recently, but it's funny that we met through him, but I'm actually more in touch with you than with him.
True, how I think friendships work like this a lot. Like, you have that one friend of yours, and then you will meet through another friend and you become more friend. I don't know. But I think the whole thing of being more friend or less friend, I'm really completely, I don't know, it makes me feel bad. So I like the categorization of. So I still have contact with this guy we both know. Max, wonderful person. I think that's similar to you. It's also a person that I've lived with. So maybe you remember how Max and I, we were sitting on top of each other basically the whole time. And we really enjoyed ourselves. And then I also had, in the first year after I was gone, so after I finished, I didn't come back like you and had a cool internship somewhere close. And the distance for me is a bit longer than for you also to get back to the project where I was. And but I was lucky that some people got to visit me. Came to visit me in the first year. So I think that always helps a lot to stay in touch. Yeah, have some funny stories or new memories with the people coming to, like getting to know, like my ESC friend from another environment, from other circumstances, other situation of life, getting to know me in a new situation of life where I'm now as a student. And I think that's also really cool because you kind of build up memories and also your friendship. So I've already talked a bit like what I think makes like the contact last. What do you think is like the clue to make contact last? Or have you got like the experience, like with your flatmates, you've experienced so much that you kind of always have the connection, or you always have the will, the need, or the loves to spread with them, no matter if you're away from them or a part of them?
Yeah, I think it's important that like what kind of connection you have in the first place. So the closer you are when you're actually still living together or whatever, seeing each other on a regular basis, the bigger the chances that this is going to continue. But of course, there are other factors that are making it more difficult, which we will get to. But yeah, and I think also with time, it kind of maybe starts falling apart a bit more, because in the beginning, I remember yeah, like as I said, two of my flatmates left earlier. And it was me and my roommate that stayed. And in the beginning, we were still calling like every week. We had a video chat while we were still there. And then even after, let's say, I left, then we were still kind of like trying to have these calls. And now it's more like, okay, we had maybe last call like half a year ago. But we're still like, we have a common chat and we're now mostly sending each other memes.
Whatever keeps a friendship alive, right?
Yeah. And then with some people, maybe I'm keeping more contact, just like one-to-one. So I have this one friend that lives in Germany, so it's also kind of near. And while I was still in Poland on my internship, she came to visit there, and then we visited together our Polish friends. And then she also came to visit me in Prague, and we went again to Poland this year. So this is also very important. When you have the opportunity to visit each other, it does a lot, which with my other flatmates, it's not so easy because one is Turkish. So she cannot really come to Europe, or it's very difficult or like expensive for her. But last year I went there and I visited her in Istanbul, where she's living and working, and also in her hometown, which was so nice because I already met her mom while she was volunteering. The mom came to visit and she's so sweet. And then I went there and she was just like cooking so much and such good food, and it was so lovely.
Sounds like good time you had over there.
Yeah.
I have to say that I have a similar issue in the sense that distance has become difficult, and for some people it is easier to do the distance, and for other people it's not so easy to make the distance. Also, when it just comes to monetary backing, you need to have the finances to travel, and I have that as well. That some people really wish to come, but then don't have the opportunity actually. So not only a visa, so not only a political, but also economical factors can stand in a way of creating new moments with friends from any time actually, but also from the European Solidarity Corps.
Yeah, also like so this last flatmate is from Colombia, so it's like super far, and it's not just like, okay, we cannot or it's much more difficult to visit each other, but also when we are trying to agree on a group call, it's like, okay, 6 hours time difference. How do we do this? So mostly in the end, we just ended up like doing the calls without him because it's so hard to manage.
Yeah, that's really difficult actually to have the time distance as well.
So how do you feel about losing the contact to your friends from your project?
I think this is something that happens to many people, if not all the people, that friendships just come and also disappear. And sometimes it's even in the same city and you don't even need to be moving and you lose the bond with the person or the connection or just the interest in spending time with each other. And moving away after a year working or voluntarily working was really difficult because it kind of is an extra thing that comes in the way of losing friends of your day-to-day life. So the people that I've met every day, have had breakfast with and worked with, and the children, I mean, in a way they were my social surrounding, and then you're completely uprooted. And for me, it was very difficult to be uprooted like this. But the thing that gave me strength to move on was actually to jump into something else that I like doing and I'm still doing, which is studying. Knock, knock, that I will continue like what I'm doing. So losing friends and losing contact is something that sometimes you don't really notice. It just happens. Because now also talking with you, I'm thinking about the times that I had with people and the people that came to visit. And then I realize, oh, hang on, there's so many people that I didn't hear anything about for so long. And it's maybe those times where you realize, oh, damn, I actually lost quite some contact. And yeah, it hurts maybe a little bit. At the same time, I think that, yeah.
It's just the way it is.
That's just the way it is. Exactly. I mean, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, because like I already did like another project before this, and also some short. I was in France for half a year, but also I did some like or many short-term projects, and I feel like I've met so many people, and I had to get used to this, that they come and they go, and I'm probably not going to ever see most of these people, and it's okay. But I also feel like it's something that happens naturally as you get older, that you just get used to seeing your friends less often than it was, let's say, in high school or whatever, when you were in seeing each other all the time. And then it's like normal that you maybe meet once a month, even if you live in the same city and like you want to have this connection, but you just have so many other things going on that it's not happening. But yeah, I think I found my peace with this, and I'm like, okay, that's just how it is.
That's so beautiful.
But sometimes I feel a bit weird when, I don't know, like I'm writing to maybe somebody I haven't seen or spoken to in a long time, and I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna be like, what if they're angry that I didn't write to them? Even though I know that, of course, they have the same, like for them it's the same as for me. It's not that they wouldn't want to talk to me, it's just that they have other things going on, and mostly they're happy to hear from me. Or even when it's like, maybe I'm like going to I don't know, your city, if it's somebody that lives somewhere else, and then they're like, great, then we can meet, whatever. And it's just this like feeling like, what if they don't want to hear from me?
Yeah.
But it's also kind of a bridge to like, do you think that even if you don't see somebody for, let's say, few years, that there can still be this bond, the connection that like, does it happen that you meet somebody after a long time and it's like yesterday?
Yeah. I think that's something so, like the bond that you have in a relationship is so determining to the friendship. And I think as well how you approach it. Because I think if you approach it in a sense of like, we're still best friends because we were best friends back then, and I have this and this and this expectations to the other person, then I think it might get really difficult to keep up the friendship. But I think that if you meet, and I think this is actually for all friendships, no matter what, and I think that also keeps a bond, is if you have the same kind of expectation level and they meet and you're both happy, I mean, more or less happy. Maybe you wish sometimes, I wouldn't mind another message from this person, but you don't get frustrated on them. Then the bond lasts, and I think that's so beautiful. If that works, if the expectations meet, and friendship can continue growing in a new space and in time. I don't know. How do you feel about this bond of friendships?
I think I can say that even from my previous project, which it's been 4 years already that I haven't seen some people, I think I could like go, I don't know, to Indonesia right now, where one of my friends is, I would be welcome and it would be amazing. But also reconnecting with some old friends, like, because like I recently got in touch with one friend that I know from like first grade of elementary school, and we were not so much in touch, and now we're trying to meet. But I still feel like when we were just chatting, I felt like not much has changed, and we still like have a very good energy there.
That's maybe also something that we didn't really talk about yet, but that is also possible, is that you can stay friends without having contact for a long time. A bit like the story you just said with your kindergarten or primary friend. And I think this is also something which is so valuable to ESC friends, and also thanks to maybe one big social media company, that we can all stay in touch. And I mean, not in touch, but we can get in touch again. So, for example, if I'm going somewhere or you're going somewhere and we know of each other that we might, he or she might be living there, then we're like, hey, knock, knock, I'm going around. And maybe like this, a friendship also gets a new time. So beautiful. I think we can round it up. And I have a little checkout question. For saying goodbye. I don't know if it's a bit illusionary to say, but maybe you want to lose some words to friends of yours that you haven't seen for a long time that might listen to the podcast, or just to friendships in general. And then I think we can send out some love.
Ooh, I didn't expect this. I would like to say to all my old friends that I maybe am not in contact with anymore, feel free to write to me. I'm willing to go for a beer or something. I don't know. It's always good to, because also like I have been kind of away on and off for the last few years, and now I finally, like, I am back and I want to stay in Czech Republic, so I would appreciate to have a strong foundation and some friends.
So beautiful. I think I could also say that to the people that might listen and I haven't seen for a long time, and also difficult in this time of the time, a big hug to all of them. And I hope that I could see you sometime soon and hang out with you. And I definitely go with the same as you, Christina. I'd also go. I definitely be available for a little beer at a point. Hopefully sooner, and hopefully also unexpected, as friendships are also unexpected.
And even if you don't want to be in touch, then lots of love to everyone, not just my old friends, even to strangers.
Such a good point you're making there. Yeah, lots of love to the people that are listening.
Bye!
Bye-bye!